Hello, crypto world! Welcome to the Chart Historian. My name is Justin, and on this channel, I delve deep into crypto charts, exploring chart structures, fractals, and patterns. In this video, I want to give a quick little update on the XRP chart. Now, I'm going to build off of my previous XRP video, and in that video, I threw out 3 different possibilities. In this video, we're going to go over those possibilities and see which one is more likely to be playing out. Now, before we do that, it's vital that you understand the macro structure that XRP has. So this is that macro structure. It's a repetitive structure. So this structure includes bull runs. We see one here, we see one here, and we see one here. They all are different sizes, and that is because the timing, height, and depth play out uniquely every single time this structure repeats. After the bull run comes a decline. We see one here, we see another one over here, we see another one over here. If we go further back in time, we'll see the same phenomenon play out, a bull run followed by a decline. After the decline comes this time that is really boring. It's a sideways range-bound time. We see one here, we see another one over here, and we're working through one over here. If we went further back in time, we would see that after the decline comes this sideways range-bound time. So now that we understand the basic idea of this repetitive macro structure, I'd like to dive in a little deeper into this sideways range-bound time. So I split this sideways range-bound time into 3 separate fractals. In fractal 1, price essentially moves up in part A, and then it moves back down, and then in part B, it goes flat. Sometimes part B angles down. We don't have any examples that are visible on this chart right now. It happens over here. And as we can see over here, so price moves up, it retreats, and then it goes flat. Now, over here, actually, this one does angle down on this one. In fractal 2, there's 3 waves, wave A, wave B, and wave C. Now, over here, it plays out on a smaller time frame. Wave A, wave B, and wave C moved up much higher than this wave C. All this is possible because the timing, the height, and the depth play out uniquely every single time this fractal repeats. So notice how they do the same functions, but they look different. This is a study not of how the fractals look one to another, but the functions that they do. So that's what I'm looking for. Every time it plays out, it's going to look different. These 3 waves play out uniquely every single time, but every time they do some iteration of 3 waves. Now, in fractal 3, price moves up to a peak, which is part A. It then declines or crashes, which is the low of the fractal, which is part B. After that low, it then recovers, does a smaller correction, and then it goes into the bull run. Well, over here, we have part A. So this is the highest peak. You know, these 2 peaks over here, they're very similar to each other. This one is a little higher, so I am putting the A right here. Now, this is where we dive into the 3 different possibilities. So the first possibility that I spoke of in the last video, you can watch that video over here. So in that video, option 1 is if we took this fractal, I'm not going to do it right now, and copy and pasted it over here, especially this part right here, there's a lot of commonality to what this did compared to this. However, there are some differences. These declines, they don't show up here, not in the way that these play out today. This decline, also, the one that we're going through, it's not really part of this structure. So that has been one of my main analyses, as it has been following it so closely. I was like, you know what, this looks like it's playing out, so that in that case would be part B. So if option 1 was playing out, this would have been B, and then this would have been so weird, this drop down where it goes lower than the low of the fractal that's supposed to be. As this has developed, I am stepping further and further away from that. I'm still going to leave it on the table, but at the moment, I place this first option or this first possibility in last. The second possibility was B, was here. Now, this one is definitely alive and well right now. So as you can see, it is the low of the fractal. That's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be the low of the fractal. So if this is at play, option 2, what we should see is something similar to, it's not going to look like this, but the functions should be where price begins to recover. It does another correction, a smaller correction, then it goes into the bull run. We would potentially have the low here, so we are kind of going sideways. It should begin to move up and then do that smaller correction and go into the bull run. The difference between option 1 or possibility 1 and possibility 2 is possibility 1 would have just gone straight into the bull run from down here. As I said, that one to me doesn't have much weight at the moment, just the way this is developing. So option 3 would be we have not yet hit part B, which is the low of the fractal. And if that's the case, it would drop again. And this drop could potentially be a drop that shakes people out of the market. Over here, we can see that it's the low, and this is many times what it does. It drops very low, and then it begins its move up. So that is still on the table. As of now, I would say option 2 or possibility 2 is the one that I'm putting the most emphasis on. And unless we get another low, which is possible, then I would switch to that third possibility. But as of now, the first possibility is option 2 or possibility 2. The second one in my mind is the third one, and the least probable right now is the first possibility. So that's how it looks right now at this point in time. We'll have to see how this develops. You know, this third fractal's been a doozy. It's thrown me for a loop. I thought we were following this very closely, and we were really close to the bull run, but no. It follows this fractal, but then it starts to deviate with these moves down. So that was not a cool thing to watch, those deviations. And then it's just the part of the structure, the greater structure, where people lose faith. This is where you see people throw in the towel and get discouraged. XRP is never going to go to the moon, and they sell. This is the testing grounds. That's what we're in. This third fractal is a painful fractal. We have to go through it, though, to get to the bull run. It's the rite of passage. I want to switch gears a little. So this is the XRP dominance chart. Now, the way the dominance chart works is it's a percentage. So it's based off of how much of crypto, of the entire crypto market, is invested in XRP. So right now, it's a measly 1.19%. It has not always been the case. As you can see over here, it moved up very high over here. The basic idea of this chart is it shoots up and then it winds its way down to a point, and then it does it all over again. Shoots up, and then it winds its way down to a point. This takes years for each one of these structures to fully complete. So this first one started where it shot up in 2014, and by 2017, it winded its way down to a point. It shot up again in 2017, and now in 2024, it is my belief that we are very close to the completion of this structure. I divide it into 9 different fractals. Let's zoom in a little. So the blue fractal is basically this first structure copy and pasted and matched sort of to the timing, height, and depth of this chart over here. So as you can see, it does repeat. Now, I want to bring your attention, well, before I do that, you can see how I have matched it. So like the part moving up, I matched it to the height on this one, and then the part moving down, I matched it to the depth on this one. And I keep doing that over and over again with basically 2 cuts in the fractal for each box. On some of them where they have multiple bounces, I have to do it in several different ones, like here. And that's because I'm trying to give you a basic idea showing how it matches the timing, height, and depth. Now, let's look at this one. This is the final structure, box 9, and as you can see, it is my belief that we are very close. Now, it could always be playing out at a larger time frame, so maybe we're not right here. Maybe we're a little bit further away from there, but either way, we're close. And this is just a rough idea, a rough way to track our progress through these structures. So At some point, it's going to begin to start moving up. In fact, maybe it's doing it right now. I don't know. We'll have to see how this continues to develop. But eventually, it's going to move up. And I don't know how high this will go, but it stands to capture a good chunk of the overall crypto market. So I zoomed out a bit. This is just a basic rough guess. Now, in the past, it's gone to 30%. This one went to 20% roughly. So that is a massive increase from 1.19%. There's only two other times in history that we can compare to with what is coming down the pike in this chart, and that is this move up over here, which took place in 2017, and this move up, which took place in 2014. These are the only two real times that we can go back to and compare to, and that's because they are the beginning of the structure. So it's going to start all anew, and it's going to move up, and then through the years it will wind its way back down. And just because it's winding down doesn't necessarily mean that it is destined to have lousy bull runs. This right here was the all-time high. But compared to this actually had a greater percentage move up than this. So just keep that in mind. So this was May 2017, roughly, and then this one was later in the year, December 2017, goes into January 2018. Anyways, that is that. So here we are back at the XRP chart. So keeping that in mind, how this ends up playing out, that could potentially underscore that this is the low. We'll have to see. I could see it still moving down lower. I'm open to that. I wouldn't like it to happen, but hey, I'm just trying to tell the story that the chart is telling. So the less of me that gets in the way, and the way I would get in the way is by trying to predict timing, which I've done in the past, or predict height, which I've also done in the past, or predict depth, which I've also done in the past. That is me projecting onto this chart. It's a bad idea. So as this continues to develop, we'll get a clearer picture of how this third fractal is shaping up. So I hope this video was helpful. If you did find it helpful, it'd be much appreciated if you hit that thumbs up button. You know, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. But if you did enjoy this video and you would like to see more of this and you're not yet a subscriber, I recommend hitting that subscribe button. I'll continue to follow this chart as it continues to develop. It is my belief that we have exciting days ahead. This is a torturous time in crypto, but these moments of torture will pass. Good days will come again. So let's make it through this time, because good days are going to come again. I'm so glad you caught this video. I hope you catch my... Oh, by the way, I have a Patreon with a Discord connected to that Patreon where I discuss crypto. Other people share their thoughts, their ideas, they post their charts, etc. If that's something you're interested in, you're welcome to join. It's a $5 a month subscription. Anyways, I'm so glad you caught this video. I hope you catch my next one. Have a great day, and bye for now.